talk by Elena was very interesting and a bit long, so I was told to cut it a little short. So unfortunately, I can't talk about myself so much, but Can already introduced me very nicely. Again, my name is Lapiz. I am responsible for marketing communication at Oratio. And since a year, I've been working in the chatbot and messaging space. Before, I was working in advertising for almost 10 years, but yeah, already got bit enough from all the partying and all the side events, so I think it was time to take a look into technology as well. That was about me, now maybe about Oratio. As some of you might know, we are also organizing this conference, but this is not our main business. What we actually do is we have a SaaS solution for business to business, which is a customer communication and conversation management platform for messengers. We enable personal and automated messages, personal where the customer agent can take over a conversation, or either through chatbots. Over the last year, we won around 120 teams from around the world, and since 2015, we're sending over 12 million messages through our platform. So I think we got a very good idea of how businesses work with messengers. And before I dive into the use cases, I actually want to start a bit earlier and go 2 years back. So I'm going to show you the chart that started it all, or one of the main reasons why we are here, maybe. Some of you might know the chart I might show next, because it was used a lot. This is this beauty. I actually can't see it anymore. When I read myself into chatbot and what it actually does is, I just saw it everywhere. It was on tweets, social media posts. Some guy wrote something on Medium and had just to insert it. And me coming from advertising, I'm used to nice infographics, some videos, animations, some actions. So these are actually just two graphs overlapping each other, but it says that the big four messaging apps have overtaken the social networking apps. So this was somehow the key in 2015 for some companies and developers to say, hey, this is our time. It's time to jump on the messaging craze and on the chatbot thing. I didn't get too excited because the only time I actually got excited by a chart which has 2 lines was this one. This is the hot and crazy scale. So this really helped me a lot in life, but the source is not so legit because it's just a series. So let's maybe jump back to the actual chart. 2 years have passed since this chart was released, and now we have finally the data to look into what effects it had and what these numbers, randomness here and randomness there, actually means in terms for businesses. So who is actually using messengers for business? When we started the startup, these are actually the breakdown from companies who are using it. So the top is Mexico, then India, Brazil with 8%, and then Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Singapore. What are the top messaging apps? From all the apps that we offered, WhatsApp was number 1 with close to 50%, and Messenger right next to it with 25%. And a little bit later, with a late rush, was Viber due to their public accounts. So what does this actually mean? I think there's a clear trend that you can see here, that the early adopters for messengers for business are actually from emerging countries. This is very easy to explain, as the smartphone itself is their primary device. This is the only device that they use to connect to the internet. Unlike here, like in Austria or in more developed countries, we have multiple device setups. I can go to the internet on my smartphone. I don't have a laptop right now, but there's a laptop in the back. I might have an iPad in my backpack and even have a desktop computer at home. So, sorry, still in the wrong. So it's easy for them to work with messengers because this is the only thing they're using. They only have the smartphone, and the only app that they're using due to data are messengers. What's also very clear to see is that Facebook really reigns supreme here. WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, and both apps have daily active users of 1 billion and plus. And Facebook has always shown a clear focus on business, and they always keep pushing the bot ecosystem, especially at the F8. And you will hear speakers here at the conference as well that they're always featured. And one more thing, what are they using messengers for? So we identified for us 3 use cases that businesses enjoyed. First, primary as an acquisition and sales channel to improve the brand experience and to increase, of course, the customer service quality, one of the most obvious use cases. So I just want to dive in and get started. The first one is acquisition and sales. The first example is actually a pretty cool one because this is Tareas in Linea, a small business started in Mexico. Tareas in Linea means, for those who don't speak Spanish, homework online. So what they do is they sell homework online. They sell homework, they sell essays, theses, etc. Everything what you need to students and those who go to school still. So why did they jump on the messaging train? It was pretty easy because their target audience from 14 to 26 is actually not available on social media. They're either not active or they're not registered because they just don't like the network, but they are on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. So what was the result of them working with us? They grew their business solely through flyers, stickers, and messengers. What do they use the flyers and stickers for? Basically, like all other startups, they just want to be featured. They had the QR codes. They actually just printed the number, WhatsApp numbers on it, went from school to school, and yeah, old school marketing, I would say, combined with digital medium. So that was a very, very good example, I think, for an acquisition channel. The next one is for brand experience and customer journey. We had the chance to work with a more established company, a corporate in this case. It was Danone Apta Club from the UK. For those who don't know Apta Club, it's basically a community of nutrition experts, midwives, and feeding advisors who guide parents or mothers to the first, they say, 1,000 days during and after pregnancy. So if you have any questions, you can visit the website, you can check out the app, and they will give you a lot of content and help you. So why did they jump on messaging? They wanted to offer customer service which fits the lifestyle of the target group. So what if is the lifestyle of someone who is expecting a baby or is just having a baby right now? So imagine you're home alone with your baby. It starts to shout, and you're just checking it out, and you think, okay, nothing unusual, maybe I just have to change the diapers. So you put it on the table, open the diapers, great smell, but still nothing unusual. But then you look down and you're like, oh shit. And the shit is brown, or not brown, or even worse, it is red, or green, whatever what color. So you have now 3 options what you can do actually, or this is what I like to do. I put out my phone. I could either Google it, but since the shit is a color that I can identify, I want to be a bit faster. So I'm either going to take a Snapchat and ruin someone's lunch. I might take a photo, send it to my mom, and she's going to be like, damn, you can't take responsibility, man. Or there is a club where you can send the poo picture to, and they are happy to help you. And this is just the amazing about Messenger. It's way faster than email, it's way faster than calling and describing the color, because you can just take directly a picture, send it to them, and they're happy to help you. They will even supply you with content. I think they have an article like poo described in the 7 colors of the rainbow or something like that, but don't take me serious on that. So what are the results? 1,000 conversations a day after 1 month of installing it, but more important, increased retention, especially with first-time mothers, because just like with banks, the customer life cycle is very important in this industry, and you have them early, you can upsell them later on to different products of the baby industry. Okay, and last but not least, most obvious one, customer service. I picked Stoiximan, a Greek sports betting company. We've worked with many sports betting companies in the last years, but this one was very different because they became the #1 in Greece through customer service via phone, actually. So all they did was scaling their phone business, calling people back and forth. Didn't enjoy email too much because for them it seemed a bit scammy to their customers. And they were looking for a communication channel which provides authentic automated conversations. So they were able to generate dialogue or write conversation which are automated, and they were happy to try it out, and this was also way easier to scale than their phone operation, because messengers, you just add customer agents. So the results there were increased response rate, but unfortunately, as to this time, the AI capabilities didn't really match their quality standards. Which also brings me to the last point and to the closing thoughts. Where do we actually go from here, and what can we learn from the last year? Businesses say yes to automation, but in our case, still no to chatbots. They are not ready to give up the control to chatbots fully, because for most of the departments in business environment or especially corporate environment, this would be like self-cannibalism. But they actually embrace automation features within messaging tools. So whenever you can build a product within messaging which helps them to speed up their business, work more efficiently, this is the way to go, and this is for all the developers. They're happy to give you the money. And last but not least, it goes down in the DM. For those of you who are not familiar, it still means direct messaging. And it just actually means that conversations are not bound to messaging apps only. It's actually more relevant for business where the interactions happen. We had the chart before where it said we have overtaken social network, but in my opinion, it is true by numbers, but it's still not that relevant because a lot of interactions still happen within social media, especially now since social media is changing. We experience now Facebook getting a bit lame for the younger generation, don't even sign up. It's turning into something like a new LinkedIn, so it's just logical that business happens on this platform. Other social networks like Instagram are growing hugely, already I think up to 600 million users or more, and had an increased boost to their stories, but a lot of interactions still happen in the background. No one really wants to write something publicly, and everything happens in the direct messages or in the DMs. So yeah, have a look at Instagram as well. It's going to be the new Tinder and the new Tailor Shop in the next years. So watch out for social networks. And yeah, these are my closing statements. I was told there should be a Q&A before the lunch break starts. So if someone has questions, feel free to ask me now or later on in private. Thank you. If no one has questions, then feel free to enjoy the lunchtime. Yeah.
Test, test.
It's working then, okay. No? You can hear me?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
So my question is, what do you think, when does it make sense for a company to provide a chatbot?
It depends on what exactly you want to do with it. I think for the use cases, customer service, it makes sense to adopt automation features or bots which can handle first-level service requests in that sense. So if you already have a customer service team, I think it would make sense there just to support the team. It also helps you to have for automated messages, you also have clear messaging. You don't have the error of your agents replying in a way that they want to. Everything is sticking on brand. So if this is something which is important to you, please do that.
Thank you.
Welcome. There's here one in the front.
Thank you very much. As we heard in the keynote, and your conversations are overall messengers. Is there a difference between the people we saw that in Asia they're mostly using other platforms, other messaging services? Are there differences in the user base on the different channels, and are you take that into concern?
In Asia especially?
No, it's all over the world, because you say you are between those messengers.
Yeah.
And you're just responding to your platform, and your platform is then translating into the other messengers. So is there any thought that Twitter users are different than WhatsApp users or something? Or are you saying all humans which are using messengers are...
No, they are totally different. They are totally different. They are totally. That's why I also mentioned before that I think, or read that Facebook is turning into more like a business profile, or the place where your parents are. So obviously there's a different tone. Twitter, as I experience it, is more for the tech community, what's happening now. We in the advertising industry were never really interested in that network. But I experienced that the conversations that happen within Twitter are way deeper and also way better to connect. So yes, there are differences between the networks. In Asia, there are a lot of random apps, and they also look pretty funny. They have already built-in business features. So if you can look through all the colorful stuff that they're offering, you can also find your business niche there. But yes, obviously, messengers operate differently with each other. Also, WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, a total different approach. In my sense, yes, Messenger is disconnected from Facebook, but people still associate it with Facebook Messenger. It's where I have your contact, and that's where I'm going to slide or write you in your DMs in the direct messenger of the Facebook Messenger. Whereas in WhatsApp, I start a conversation with you directly. It's actually not the DM, it's just the messaging app itself.
Okay, thanks.
I have one question about the teams, the human takeover.
Yeah.
Have you some experience how many message can be automated and how many message will be directed to humans, or in some counts? Or is the...
So I don't have a statistic on that, but basically every message could be automated. Like if you train the correct keywords, or if the business who are using our platform inserts the keywords, writes the responses, and lets the AI train it. But the human takeover is actually a function that we offer where a customer can directly request someone from the agents. So, but we experienced that people like to try around like 2-3 times before they really get annoyed with, sorry, I can help you with your request. So then they're directly getting in touch. Because it's still like, it's still the same as calling a customer service via phone. You don't want to be in some type of waiting line. You are there for a reason. And just because it is on your phone, you still want your information directly. So you decided to not scrape the internet for information, but actually ask someone there.
One question, how much the biggest team of the human takeover in your customers?
Who used human takeover?
Yeah, and how many agents there are?
The sports betting team is 20 to 25 agents, so it's a pretty large company already.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We can also talk later.
So we're going into the lunch break, and Ashley will be around here if you want to talk to him and ask some private questions. We will continue. So first of all, thank you very much. Give it up to Ashley.